Well, let's go to Dan Quinn right now as he talks to the media from the third day of minicamp out here at Commanders Park.
Physically coming out of this?
Yeah, that's number one, top of the pile, to make sure you come out of this, as healthy and going into training camp to that space. Good news is a number of the guys, that were held out this spring are making good progress. Guys like Johnny Newton and F.A. and others, to make sure they're hitting each mark along the way. So we're hopeful, as we get closer to camp, we'll have a better feel for, who's able to really get started right off the bat. But I'm really thrilled with the health of the team today. And
with the notion of the installs in and the execution going up, like just for Jayden, how have you kind of seen him progress this week in light of
Yeah, he's if you've been around the building or asked anybody in the building, one of the things that I love about him, he's got this demeanor about the execution, about the confidence. He's got a swagger to him. He really has a very firm handle on the things that we're doing, but he also has the humility of a young player. And so I thought, what a cool combination to have this presence as an older player, but yet the humility of the new and younger player, knowing that he has a lot to prove. And I thought, well, what a rare and really cool combination that is. And we talked earlier about the quarterback room, what that's like for, Marcus in there. And those guys, they've had some similar journeys. And being able to share that, I think, has been really powerful. I know they both enjoy each other's company a lot and spend a lot of time together. So I thought, what a good person for Jayden to be around in Marcus. Marcus has the competitive fire and the humility as well. So, there's a kindred spirit, although the age is a little different. There's a lot of similarities with the two of them.
Hey Dan, with Jayden, where do you see sometimes where he maybe is a little bit ahead and other times where it's like, okay, he's still a rookie?
I think it's the execution. And the reason I say that is there's not usually I need that call again, I need it again, or you're asking, in the headset to go. So in the huddle, the clear communication, I listen to every call that he makes. And so the IDing of the protection. So I would say he's further along, than you probably should be. But that's probably a, attribute to him as well, to say, he was not going to leave, a stone unturned in terms of the execution of it. And that's what we talked about over his next 40 days of the smallest of details again and again and again.
And it's where do you see the rookiness, I guess, in him?
I'd see the rookiness and all the things that you have to go through for the first time for him and all of his teammates. It was from draft to first rookie camp to OTAs and then 11 on 11. So I can remember when we first did 11 on 11, he came up to me and said, DQ, is back to real football, because the first 5 or 6 practices, if you guys remember watching, was all 7 on 7. So maybe the excitement is where I see the rookiness, the urgency, the energy that goes along with that, how damn excited he is to get going. So I remember coming after that practice, he was so excited because everybody was there, linemen, the whole thing. And so I'd say maybe that's the rookiness in the very best of ways of just energy for it. It's been cool to see the energy of these guys. They found they can work really, really hard and have a really good time together doing it. And that's what I'd hope to see accomplished, and we're certainly seeing that.
Dan, how far back does your relationship with Ken go to, and why was it important to bring somebody in even for off-season and talk to them?
Yeah, I love Ken Norton. I really do. And our relationship goes back to 2010. And so we got connected at the Seattle Seahawks. So 2009. And I'd been a defensive line coach. He was the linebacker coach. I left after that season and come back to Seattle 2 years later. And to have him, right alongside of me as the defensive coordinator, it was really impactful for me. He has such a unique approach. And if you were a linebacker coming up, this is the type of man that you'd want to be around on a regular basis, because he connects the football, the person, the soul, everything that it goes into it. And in a very cool way, his way of paying it forward to the next group of guys. So pretty cool for a guy like Jordan McGee to feel this energy of what it could be, and he's soaking up every bit of it.
Dan, Jayden told us that he gets in the building about 5:45. Nick made the joke that he gets here earlier than him. He doesn't know how. But he also said that Luke McCaffrey is the other person that's here at 5:45. Just in your years of football experience, you as a coach to your staff and then to other players, when they're seeing this, so they know that that's what's happening from their youngest players.
Yeah, you just see it. And it may come in different ways. I can remember years ago in Seattle leaving on a Friday afternoon after preparation was done. Might have been a 5:30, and the team might have been done at, let's call it 1 o'clock. and I heard some music coming from a meeting room, and in there watching was Earl Thomas. He was by himself, but he wanted to go through it again and again and again. And so I remember moments like that for players who will find their own routine and their own process. Sometimes the early morning time is the best. There's no distractions. There's nothing else that other than just that time to go. So I think it's really important for every player to find that process, to say what works for me. So we were talking about like Jordan McGee earlier. We're not saying you have to use Bobby Wagner's process, but you have to recognize what his is and make that true for you. And I think Zach Ertz and Bobby have embodied that for a lot of the players here to say, okay, I see what that consistency looks like off days, on days, early mornings, late nights. So that's what it says to me. He's finding that routine that works for him. And fortunately, he took that step at LSU as well, to come in early, find extra time, and knowing that has worked for him, it's happening again.
Over the course of your career, you've worked with Russell Wilson and obviously the Matt Ryans of the world, so you've had a chance to see their process as well, too. How does it precipitate on the field? Like, what levels of trust, like how much the players are willing to go the extra yard for those players? Just where do you see all that stuff happening?
Yeah, I was super fortunate from the last, 10 or 15 years, from Russell to Matt to Dak. And I would say the best of the best are not only worried about their own performance, but coaching others, what they saw, how it is, the smallest of details. And I certainly saw Matt do that, with the receivers, with the tight end. He had his own language that he did. It was probably a little more colorful than Russell's or Dak's. Well, maybe not Dak's, but certainly more than Russ's. But my point is, they were both authentic to like helping others. And sometimes as the quarterback, you got to be able to help a formation, get to a protection, and it's such a unique spot. And Jayden has that coolness about him that people want to be next to him because he's going to deliver the right information to the people. You're welcome.
Early on in camp, Marcus Mariota was taking most of the reps with the ones. As we've gotten a little further in minicamp, it seems Jayden is taking over. In your mind, is Jayden the starter, and do you expect as we get to training camp that he'll get most of the work with the ones?
Well, in true competition, that's why we set it up as we did, to have Marcus have some and Jayden to have some. So no great declarations other than like being true to who we are. As competitors, there's no doubt that Jayden's making unbelievable progress here, and we'll have a really fun camp. But he's earned that opportunity to go compete. We wouldn't have given him those spaces and those times and those reps if he hadn't. But it was really clear that he's put in the work and he was ready to do that. So it was by intention for sure that he was able to do that.
And Coach, part of that competition, we're seeing you guys roll out a lot of different combinations of linemen.
Yep.
How deep into the calendar are you comfortable right now until you make that decision on who your starting five will be?
Yeah, I don't have a calendar date set, that I've circled. It has to be by this time. I don't want to, if it's you see it, you do it. And but certainly at the line of scrimmage on both sides, we all owe it to ourselves to take that process all the way through. And fortunately for us, we've planned ahead as we're going into practices. We have some other scrimmages against other teams. So we'll have some opportunities that will be really beneficial for the big guys. And we'll take them all.
And then can you talk about quarterback Sam Hartman, kind of what has stood out from him to you so far?
Yes, and I thought Sam, we had just a good visit with this morning about the things that he's going to work on, heading into it. So some of our post-practice stuff has been devoted to the youngest players who may not have got a lot of reps early on. And so for a guy like Sam to know that these reps are coming, I'm going to be ready for those, and he's absolutely ready to deliver on that. So it's been an excellent addition. It was great to hear from a coaching standpoint how some of the veterans have mentored him, not just in the quarterback room, but he wasn't expecting that, and so had heard other stories where it's not as, easy for a rookie to connect. And so for guys just to say, come on, let me show you how to do that, knowing what they would have given almost anything to have somebody do that to them. I love the humility of some of those guys who are the older ones, say, these are my younger brothers, not pledges. And we're here to make them better.
Coach, B-Rob and Austin, they both said that there's definitely a competition there, but it's a healthy competition. How much of that is your MO, that let's not make it about trying to take somebody down, but to push each other up? Yeah, and I think that's why you saw some reps also, that you saw them both out there together. And, so it's pretty rare that you have guys with unique stuff and unique talents that are not cookie cutter, same as. And so to have that kind of balance, I think as an offensive play caller and as a head coach, like more things even open up to you because of that. But these are elite competitors, and man, are we fortunate to have them both.